Educational Communications and this station present Environmental Directions with Nancy Pearlman. On this series, we explore the effects of human influence on the Earth's ecosystems and discuss solutions to environmental problems which affect the quality of life on this planet. Environmental Directions gives you the kind of information you need to help you participate in decisions impacting your community, the nation, and the world. Now, here's your host, Nancy Pearlman.
Hello. We're going to be talking about non-toxic cosmetics and healthy personal care products with my guest, Gabriel Santino. He is the founder and CEO of Gabriel Cosmetics, Inc., a global natural beauty empire whose brands include Gabriel, Zuzu, Luxe, and Clean Kids Naturally. He founded the company in 1992 and has remained an independent brand to this day. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you, Nancy, so much for having me on your show, and thank you for everything that you do for the environment. People like you that truly make a difference and make what I do easier, because it's easier to spread the Gabriel Green Gospel, as I like to call it.
Thank you so much, because it's a pleasure to work together with someone like you who has a company and products that are ecologically sound, with people like me volunteering in the nonprofit sector. And your philanthropic work is so important and appreciated, because you do give back to environmental organizations and you do care about people's individual health and the health of the planet. In fact, I have been using your wonderful, natural, vegan, gluten-free, cruelty-free, no synthetic chemical cosmetics for many years, and it makes such a difference not to have those toxic poisons on our skin. I know that you were inspired by your grandmother. So what made you want to create a different kind of product than was on the market back in the last century?
We've been in business for over 30 years. We are known as a pioneer in the natural products industry. What I wanted to do is I wanted to give people a opportunity, a choice for a healthier alternative for cosmetics, or for that fact, personal care products. There have been so many companies that have tried to do the similar thing that I've been doing. Unfortunately, some have been successful and some have not. But with the current technology and awareness of natural and how it truly affects our body, it is becoming more mainstream. And my grandmother always had a holistic philosophy that you are what you eat, and whatever you put on your body gets absorbed into it. And she only had empirical knowledge. She was not a doctor, but she knew how people felt after they had a heavy meal, something that they shouldn't be eating, drank too much. So yes, it was all internal, and it showed up on your skin, whether that be a rash or any type of skin discomfort.
You wanted to reflect those beliefs, a lifestyle. You wanted products that were accessible, affordable, nutrient-rich, ethical, results-driven. I'm always curious how you created these products. How does one discover all these different ingredients in these products? Where do you get them from? And are they sourced fair trade? Are the places that they are obtained organic farms? What kind of items are actually in the products that we put on our eyes, our face, our bodies?
I've been fortunate enough to work with a European chemist for the last 30 years who shares the same belief system that I do, that everything should be organic and free trade, everything that you mentioned. That is the European standard. So I have been blessed to have him on my team. I'm going to say 99% of all of our ingredients come from the United States. And that is a very powerful statement because there are so many ingredients that can be sourced from other countries that are subpar, that are full of chemicals. It depends how they were grown, how they were harvested, and even how they were shipped to the United States to be processed. There's so much involved, and we are fortunate enough to have full control from start to finish.
So are the colors from plants? What exactly is in the different makeup, lotions, and other items that you have available?
I'll give you an example. Our colors that have more of a red tone, we use St. John's wort extract. When you macerate the herb, it gives you a rich red pigment. We use chlorophyll, iron oxides. We also use titanium dioxide, which is a white opalescent color. So we masterfully blend these to get the tones that we are looking for. A customer once asked me, will this lipstick last 8 hours? I said, absolutely not, because it's a natural plant-based product. If I were to make it last 8 to 12 hours, I would have to put so many chemicals in it that I would defeat my purpose.
I don't mind putting it on a few times a day. It makes me look fresh and wonderful.
Absolutely, yes, and it gives you an opportunity for a quick refresh. You called it. Absolutely, yes.
I'm still having a hard time imagining how many different ingredients you have to get to your facility to make the product. Since you have so many ingredients, do you actually go to the field and see the plant or herb that you take an extract from, or some element of that plant, the color, whatever is in it that makes the product, and see how it's grown? And what is it? Give me an example of some of those plants.
Yes, so chamomile. I visited a local chamomile farm, and I talked to the farmer. I saw all of his organic certifications. I put him in contact with our chemist, who gave him precise instructions on how to harvest the chamomile and have it shipped to the facility for it to be inspected to make sure that it was to the Gabriel standard, and then it was processed into the product that chamomile was a vital ingredient for. So at one point, yes, I have visited most of these facilities.
I was looking at your website. That's, of course, GabrielCosmeticsInc.com. I lost count of the different bath products, kids products, skincare, makeup. How many products do you have? Because I know your most recent launch was a mineral sunscreen.
Yes, yes. Oh, and that, Nancy, is our first FDA-certified product. That took me over 10 years to negotiate with the United States government. And that, to me, is such a feather in my cap, because the FDA did not recognize natural ingredients as a sunblock, sunscreen. Fortunately, after 10 plus years, they have. That is my greatest achievement.
You are an innovator.
Yes, it's transparent, SPF 50, and most importantly, it's reef safe.
And you're saying people should wear this even if it's not a hot, sunny day, because harmful rays can even go through the clouds.
Absolutely. Well, look outside. Plants are still growing on a cloudy day.
Let's get back to those numbers. How many ingredients are you actually having to source from how many different places and how many different products?
We have over 200 products. It started with just one product, Nancy, if you can believe that. And then it slowly expanded into over 200 plus items. We probably have, as far as ingredients, are you ready for this? Over 10,000 ingredients. It doesn't mean we use them all, but they're accessible. I may need half an ounce or half a gram of this. It's like cooking, a pinch of that. Consider me the Willy Wonka of cosmetics.
You enjoy it, and it's amazing that you can figure out which of those thousands of ingredients to put where and how. Your scientists, your chemists are so important to the operation. You said that you're 99% U.S.-based products.
Yes, ingredients, yes, are sourced.
But they have to come from many different places.
From the U.S., everything's available here in the U.S., just about.
And then they're shipped to your facility up in the state of Washington?
Yes, they are processed where they are checked in. Everything is made in small batches to ensure top quality control. I'm so blessed that we have never had a recall with any batches going array. So very proud of that. So we have full control over every small batch that we make. We have relationships with our suppliers, 20 years plus. I trust them and they trust me. So that to me is a big foundation for what I do.
Who decides what the next new product is going to be and why that product?
I work in the trenches. I work with customers. I'm always out asking these questions when I'm out visiting stores. What do you think is missing? And then that's when the ideas start to flow.
And then you have a team that puts your ideas into reality.
That is correct. A very small team that I trust, that they can take it to the next level. We can start evolving it. We can start putting it together and testing it to see if it's something that would fit into our product mix.
I don't quite understand why you create so many different brands.
Let me explain. The children's products were for children. We have a skincare line. Everyone has to wash their face. And I have two makeup lines. One is called Gabriel Color. And the tagline for that is the secret to mistake-proof beauty. That makeup line, no matter how you mix and match it, it will always complement your skin tone. All of the colors are neutral. They're safe. You don't have to think about it. It's your go-to. Customers were asking me, well, Gabriel, I want some sparkle. I want some pizzazz. Give it to me. So then I thought, well, I'm going to come out with a second line. And that is going to be Zuzulux. That is going to be the line that has the sparkle, the pizzazz. It is going to shine. It will make you, every night will be New Year's Eve. There you go. And that is Zuzulux. So a little bit for everybody.
You have been an innovator in this whole area of non-toxic cosmetics, body care products. I would assume that you would really like other companies to follow your lead and that we don't see toxic products on the market. It's competition for you, but isn't that the way we need to go?
You just nailed it. My response to that is I want to lead by example. I want to inspire other companies to do the same, and some are, but unfortunately they're using it as a big marketing ploy. What ends up happening to some of these smaller companies, they end up selling out to bigger corporations, conglomerates, and they lose their essence. To me, our customers are king and queens. They're royalty, and they should be treated as such with respect.
You are very U.S.-based. You have a U.S. market, but are you expanding to other parts of the globe? And what is the competition in other parts of the world?
We currently have a distributor in Canada, and we've been working with them for over 15 years. So our products are available in most of the provinces. And I'm looking for new distributors globally. As far as competition, that goes from country to country. What other companies do is that they cater to the country's demographics. They create products specifically for that market. So that is something that we would have to do at some point.
The certification arena has changed dramatically, and it must be difficult with so many different products to get certified as gluten-free or vegan or cruelty-free. So how many different agencies, organizations do you have to go to get how many different kinds of certifications?
At this point, we're only dealing with two. We're dealing with the gluten intolerance group that has certified all of our cosmetics gluten-free. And who knew that gluten was in cosmetics 10 years ago?
I didn't know.
The average woman eats between 3 to 5 pounds of lipstick in her lifetime. So that is crazy. They're ingesting products that have gluten without them even knowing it. We're also working with Leaping Bunny for our certification for cruelty-free. At one point, we were working with the government, again, for certification to be USDA certified organic. And that was a big one. Nancy, that was another pinnacle, another feather in our cap, to be certified USDA organic. Unfortunately, I found that it really didn't make that much of a difference in cosmetics. But to get to that point in itself, it's like the finish line. Nobody else could do it, but we did it.
You have done so much in creating sustainable, ecological, healthy products. I have been pleased to be using them for years and years and to be working with your philanthropic activities, and you donate some of your profits to nonprofit environmental organizations. It's so important that we see that kind of connection between the commercial world and the non-commercial world. You seem to enjoy creating these products. I enjoy wearing them. I've seen you wear some of them, use some of them. You look stunning. It makes a difference, doesn't it, that you care and you're involved.
I love what I do. I enjoy waking up every day knowing that my products make a difference. When I work with people, I just worked with someone 2 days ago. I was able to touch her face, to try new colors on her. I made her day. I made her smile. That to me is priceless. You tell me, how many CEOs of cosmetic companies work one-on-one with customers? Not that many. And there's so many companies now that there is no founder at the helm. We're one of those companies, and I'm so proud of that, Nancy.
It's great that you love what you're doing. I love getting the message out to the public that we can live sustainably and have sustainable products. Thank you.
You're welcome, Nancy, and I can't wait to do another interview in person.
Absolutely. I want to thank you so very much for creating these products, for making them available, and for being my guest.
Again, Nancy, it's people like you and connections that truly make a difference. You've been doing this a very long time, and I'm one of your biggest fans because we are growing in numbers and we are making a difference.
Thank you so much. I have been speaking with Gabriel D. Santino, who is founder and CEO of Gabriel Cosmetics, Inc. We'll be back in a moment with more ecological issues.
Environmental Directions with Nancy Pearlman continues with further discussion of the world's critical ecological issues. For more information, you may call 310-559-9160 or go to www.ecoprojects.org. Now, here's Nancy.
We're going to be talking about wildlife killings in the United States, especially bear killings and the wild horse and bureau roundups, with my guest, Ardell Bellman. She is an animal activist. She's also a retired elementary teacher and a high school special education teacher. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you, Nancy. It's my pleasure, totally. Thank you.
You have been working with so many different organizations who are are trying to stop much wildlife destruction in the United States. You truly take on the concept that Mahatma Gandhi stated when he said, "The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated." I have a feeling you don't think we're treating our animals, both domestic or wild, very well.
Bingo. I put it in succinct word. Because they're not voters, they're not taxpayers, and they don't complain. They're easily dispensed with, and this is what I'm seeing and hearing also.
You started finding out about some of the killings of our wildlife, some of the mistreatment of animals in labs, how zoos are not really protecting the animals in such inhumane cage conditions because of information from different organizations. Which groups have been sending out those kinds of emails to you and newsletters and magazines that moved you enough to take action?
Of course, PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, and there's Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. They have techniques which they want to share, their physicians. They want to share this with research labs so they don't have to kill the animals. And then there is another called White Coat Waste, and they too will help organizations place their animals in sanctuaries, but they're not given the chance. Everything seems to be going their way with the animals because animals don't complain, and they're the boss. It's hard for them to make inroads.
My dedication to speaking up for wildlife came in high school when a photographer who did pictures for Defenders of Wildlife showed me their magazine. And then I joined some of the national organizations, the National Parks Conservation, Sierra Club, Audubon, all these groups that were really working hard. And then Zero Population Growth, now Population Connection, regarding the root cause of too many people on the planet causing too much destruction. So it is important that people read and find out. And of course now there's so many documentaries and podcasts and other ways to obtain information.
Years ago, or I just missed it, I didn't hear any of this. It was through solicitation from groups.
We have so many different species of animals that need our protection, that are endangered. We need to establish more habitat for them. But some supposedly are protected. Decades ago, there was a piece of legislation that became law to protect wild horses and burros. And yet, the federal government, through the Bureau of Land Management, continues to round up these horses and burros and take them to the slaughterhouse. Could you explain what's going on?
When you don't know the answer, it's either money or sex. In this case, it's all money and pressure from lobbyists, and they get what they want. They want to keep the land open for drillers, ranchers, loggers. Those are the money people. The wildlife, they don't have a dime.
In other words, we have public lands with our wildlife on it, but yet we still rent out that land to cattle ranchers, sheep ranchers, to oil exploration and other kinds of resource extraction industries at very little cost and no protection for those animals when they have those private activities on our public lands.
That's the way it's going. There was a roundup this past July in temperatures of 100 and near 100, which is illegal. And they were being carried out. They weren't being monitored, and they certainly weren't stopped. That's a small example.
How many roundups of wild horses and burros are there?
Too many. One is too many. What they do, now they're using helicopters. I mean, it's not a secret. They come just about to their heads of the horses, and they knock them over. I mean, not that they intend to knock them over, but, you know, when you have a helicopter on your head, they knock the horses over. The horses break their bones. In July, 19 horses were killed, and then 21 horses were killed. This was this past July, 2 separate roundups. For those that have survived a helicopter roundup, they're either sent to Mexico or Canada, where they're killed and used for food. Now, all they need to do, there are injection birth controls that are very effective, and animals don't reproduce unless the environment is proper for them and the offspring. They monitor their own reproduction, but of course there are injections that can be shot at them, which are not painful. Their population can be controlled that way, not through a roundup.
There's supposed to be laws to protect the animals. What is this Violet's Law?
That is a no-brainer law. Basically what it is, after animals are finished giving their life in research labs, and they still have a life, they are to be sent to sanctuaries, rescue groups, be adopted, anything that will then give them a life. But that hasn't been passed. And it's been a few sessions of Congress where it hasn't been passed. What's the issue? They've been released from the lab. So give them a life now.
There are numerous organizations, whether or not it's PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, in Defense of Animals, many other groups who oppose using animals at all in research activities.
That's true, but it's not working. Since Violet's Law has not been passed, they're finished with their lab experimentation. In other words, they've been released. So what do you do with them? They get incinerated.
My concern, too, though, is sanctuaries need money to take care of these animals for the rest of their lives. And that's a job in and of itself. Where do we put these animals that have been mistreated? And how do we take care of them for a long, long time?
Sanctuaries get donations, and it's not all going to sanctuaries. They could be adopted. They could be placed in rescues.
You're based in Las Vegas, even though you worked for many, many decades in Pennsylvania and other states. I'm here in Los Angeles, and there's a controversy right now over releasing a bull elephant that has been alone in the Los Angeles Zoo for a few decades, and getting that animal into a sanctuary with other elephants, because elephants are family herd animals. They shouldn't be in solitary confinement in a small area. How do you feel about animals in zoo conditions?
It's just what you said. It's unfortunate. Now, when I was younger and I'd go to a zoo and see animals, I would never think what we're doing to them. But as you get older and hear things and read things, they don't belong there. They belong, as you said, with their confreres, their families. They're very bright. Animals are very bright. They focus.
Your work here is primarily in the United States, but aren't some of these issues and problems over in other countries as well?
You better believe it, and we pay for it. It's called the National Institutes of Health that gives our tax dollars to overseas labs for experimentation.
You spent over 28 years teaching elementary school, teaching high school special education. So it seems as though we need more education so that people realize what's going on, and that's what you're actively doing now, is you're speaking up, trying to be a voice for the animals. What made you change? What made you become the animal activist that you are, writing the letters to the legislatures, trying to get laws enacted that will protect animals? What was the turning point for you?
I don't know. Maybe it was the solicitation of animal charities emailing me, and I learned. That's how I learned.
I assume the major action that you're advocating, since most of us can't go out and stand between the guns killing the animals and the animal itself, is to write letters or make telephone calls and communicate to legislators to change our laws, to change our policies to protect animals.
Right. See, this is why I write letters, to get more people to call. One person making that call is dispensable, but they need to say, gee, look at all these people calling. What's going on? They'll take note, because hopefully they think, well, if we don't, maybe we won't get their vote in that direction right now. They're not representing me, so why do I want them there?
I feel very good to be able to talk to somebody like yourself who became aware of the issues, who became concerned as a concerned citizen, decided decided to take action, and I think it's very important that others do so, and you're a wonderful example of activism. Thank you so very much for doing the work that you're doing to speak up for animals that don't have their own voice. Thank you for being my guest.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for getting the word out so well, which I never could have done. One person, but one here, one there, gets the word out, and thank you for those many compliments. It's been my pleasure when I see an improvement.
You're welcome. I have been speaking with Ardell Bellman, who is an animal activist and retired teacher. I'm Nancy Perlman. Thank you very much for joining us, and do tune in again next week.
If you would like free information about these environmental issues, go to www.ecoprojects.org or call 310-559-9160. Environmental Directions with your host, Nancy Perlman, is a community affairs program of the nonprofit organization Educational Communications and this station.